this is something I've been thinking about a lot this week. I watched a video on actualize.org that I told you a little bit about, which is he's a guy who's very into meditation and psychedelics. And he's very into what he would describe as elevating your consciousness. I enjoy watching his stuff because it is very different than anything you'll encounter pretty much most other places. And he was talking about politics in his last videos. And one of the things that really influenced me is he said, you cannot... The amount of selfishness in today's world is so astronomical, you wouldn't even believe it. Like, if you were to come down into this world as an alien race or 3,000 years in the future and see the degree of selfishness with which we all live, you'd be staggered. And I was thinking about that with context. People take as much as they can legally and socially and don't give a dime back. And I mean that, like, nobody overpays on their taxes, right? You can argue that we need higher taxes, but no one will overpay.
Voluntarily, even if you're pro getting taxes raised. Now, one could argue, and I would argue this, I would rather donate my own money to charity water than to the U.S. government.
Sure. But even when you take what is, and I watched this video of Conor McGregor, I'm going to pick on him a little bit. It's Conor McGregor and Tony Robbins, and they're talking about Proper 12. And he says, we give $5 of every case sold of Proper 12 to first responders. And it gets a huge, wow, give back, amazing. And I Googled the cost of a case.
Yeah.
It's $260 for whiskey. That's, I think, aged 3-4 years. Double check me on that. It's not 12 years, which I feel like is a clever marketing thing to make it sound like Macallan. In any event.
Where's the 12 from Proper 12 come from?
It's the district that he grew up in. But certainly when I heard the number 12 in a whiskey,
of course,
I thought 12 years.
Of course.
So
clever Connor.
Clever. He's a great marketer. And I did the math. On revenue, it's less than 2% that he gives. And the guy's got, personally, over $100 million. And I know he's got fatter margins than that on Proper 12. I know it. And it was, and to sit and all clap, and it's true, that giving less than 2% of revenue is such a miraculous thing to do in this day and age is an indictment of the world that we live in, I think. It's not an indictment of Connor. It's an indictment of all of us. That's so profound and remarkable. Like, you and I, Connor even to an extraordinary level, live like kings. Not only do we have everything we need, from running water to beds to people to help us do this podcast where we disseminate our ideas into the world.
Shout out Angel.
Shout out to Angel. No. We're just so freaking selfish, man. It's incredible to me. And so I personally tried to sit down and cap the amount of money that I'm going to take every year at a ridiculous amount. Like, I spreadsheeted, vacations are in there and massages are in there. And I said, okay, this is the number. And I did that because what I've seen is that number that I think I need goes up every year as I make more money.
What are you going to do with the leftover?
I'm going to give it away. I'm going to do charity water or something. I'm going to give it to people that I think really need it. And I'll try to be discerning about that. But it just made me think, like, we're so proud of our 100 millionaires. We think it's such an achievement. And I can imagine living in a world that was better than this one, where that's shameful to
have $1 billion.
Not a million necessarily.
No, $1 billion, I said.
$1 billion, where that level of hoarding is
frowned upon,
shameful. And I don't mean to indict any particular individual, because it's true of every person at their own level. I look at these various divorce settlements we were talking about, where people, Mackenzie Bezos took $30-some billion and it, could have got half. And I feel like didn't sit down and think, did I contribute $30 billion of Amazon's growth? Might some of the employees at Amazon deserve more of this stock? Should this all go to me? And even Jeff Bezos, who had 120, being like, I think I'm going to keep all this stock, and I'm not going to liquidate some and put some back into a non-profitable thing like getting water for people in Africa or malaria nets. And I've just been shocked.
Isn't that kind of the American way, though, to laud the billionaire?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And this guy really made me think and realize how selfish I am, how insanely selfish I am. And it's not the rich, it's not the poor, how insanely selfish we all are. And so you just said, people take what they can get. Google's doing what's best for Google. It's just true of every organization, and some of them have way more ability to do it than others.
Sure. But I thought that some weren't like that 5 years ago.
I thought they were good guys.
I thought the news was to promote the news. I thought Google's job was to tell me the most accurate thing for my search.
Yeah.
I thought that surgeons' jobs was to do the best thing for their patients. I thought there was tons of things where that wasn't the case. I didn't think that surgeons were motivated by money. I didn't think Google was motivated primarily by money. I didn't think that the news was motivated primarily by money. 5 years ago, I thought that that their primary focus was their primary function. Google is a search engine. So what is Google trying to do? Be the best search engine possible.
Yeah.
Surgeons do surgery. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to be the best doctors for their patients
possible. Not sometimes. Yeah. So
no, exactly. To
not do surgery.
Discerningly decide when to do surgery and then do it to the best of their ability, only to the level that the patient needs. That's what I thought surgeons did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I can think of 100 examples. And there are still stuff like, if you're a public school teacher, you're probably really trying to help kids because you make no money. Yeah. But I think in things where there's a lot of money flowing around, news, surgeons, Google, etc., it's only recently that I've realized that their primary focus is not actually their primary function. Mm-hmm. It's just new to me.
Sure.
I'm still recognizing that in different areas of the world.
Well, I think what happens, and the guy talks about this, I've seen this, is you view the world in the same way that you view yourself. It's tough to not. You sort of have one underlying theory that dictates how you see things. And so when you view the world as, there's the good guys and there's the bad guys, you see the sort of same thing in yourself. I have good instincts and bad instincts, and these are the bad ones. And in addition to that, I'm also generally one of the good guys.
Yeah, I'm the good obviously.
I'm obviously a good guy. Yeah. Minus those other things, which are my bad things.
If this were Die Hard, I'd be Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes. I'm the protagonist. I'm not selfish. Those other people are selfish.
Yeah, they're Voldemort.
And so, so one of the things that I'm trying to do is when I see that in the world, or when I hear Connor and I get a little bit triggered, is go, okay, how much is your business giving back, right? Like, there's every time that I see that in someone else.
More than 2%?
A lot more than that, honestly. And I think we can do. I think we can do more.
I'm just saying.